Yo.
Hey, everybody, another edition of ATL Prime Sports. I'm Todd Corder coming to you from Atlanta. JJ is not with us today. Our producer, Wayne from Memphis, is with us. And Wayne, how are you today?
I'm pretty good. I got me a little bit of McDonald's for breakfast.
We'll be talking about McDonald's later on in the show. Speaking of Big Macs and fries and cash and bags from the Tennessee football program. Of course, this is all from the Dan Patrick Show. We'll discuss that a little bit later. You can get us on social media. Get myself at Corder Todd. You can get Wayne at RWY Jr., JJ at JJ Get You One, and all of us at ATL Prime Sports. No guest today, but on Friday's show, we will come to you live at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Blog Talk Radio. You can listen to it at www.blogtalkradio.com, or you can call 1-347-205-9631. Our guest will be Old Miss Eve. She will talk to us about Southeastern Conference football, the nation's top college football conference, the SEC, and we have some stories out of the SEC that we'll talk to you later on about the show. So let's go ahead and get started, Wayne. Philip Rivers retires today. That's a big headline at age 39, fifth all time in passing yards with 63,000 and change behind Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, and Brett Favre. 8 Pro Bowls, fifth in touchdown passes behind Brees, Brady, Manning, and Favre. And Wayne, his retirement job is he's going to coach high school football. He had 16 seasons with the Chargers and last season with the Colts, where he threw 24 touchdown passes. And like I said, Wayne, his retirement job is he's going to go coach high school football. Hey, it looks like it's going to be in the state of Alabama. How about that for a gig?
Well, it's not a bad gig if you ask me. I mean, I don't think the pressure is quite as much. And if you're a teaching type of guy, or if you plan on being a teaching type of coach, it's a great place to be at.
I tell you what, those kids are going to be awful lucky. As you know, Philip Rivers has a ton of kids. I believe he has 8 or 9 of them. So if he plans on coaching a lot of them, that will be a lot of fun. He'll be able to do that for a long time. So what a family, and you know what? Best of luck to Philip Rivers, because I tell you what, Wayne, he was good enough to play another season. He had a really good season this year.
Yep.
No question about it. All right, let's go on to our other headline I'm sorry?
I was going to say there was a professional basketball player that recently went back to coaching high school. I don't know if you remember Mike. What was he? He played for Miami. Just had his name on the tip of my tongue. Mike. I'll have to look it up.
Oh, it's okay. All right, let's go on to some other news. The Detroit Lions are going to hire Dan Campbell, the assistant head coach, tight ends coach from the New Orleans Saints. It will be a 6-year deal, and the Saints are going to be making a lot of changes in the offseason as Drew Brees is set to retire also. All right, let's go more on a local note here in Atlanta. Wayne, some sad news. Don Sutton passed away, 23 seasons, 16 with the Dodgers, 324 wins, played with the Astros, Angels, Brewers, and A's, 4-time All-Star, Major League Baseball Hall of Fame, and also in the Braves Hall of Fame as a broadcaster. He was with Skip Carey, Pete Van Wieren, and Joe Simpson on TBS. And the only one that is alive today is Joe Simpson. He's doing Braves games on the radio. So really sad day. And Don Sutton was as good as it got, not only on the baseball field, but in the booth, Wayne. He was very good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, those baseball guys really have to stay on top of it, too, because to me, it's a little bit tougher to find things to talk about sometimes. And if you're a good announcer, you can flow right through the game and no dead air or anything like that happens.
Well, he was pitching complete games in his 40s. Today's pitchers don't even pitch complete games in their 20s and 30s. This guy was doing it in his 40s, And I understand he pitched nine complete games in a row.
In a
So,
row.
this guy, incredible. I know it. It's incredible. Also, some more news, unfortunately, not good news. Tony Ingle, the former basketball coach at Kennesaw State and Dalton State, he passed away of COVID-19 at age 68. He won the Division II national title in 2004. Kennesaw State won the NIA championship in 2015 at his alma mater, which is Dalton State. He had 382 wins in his lifetime, and his son Tony Jr. is the girls basketball coach at Kell High School. Also, he was the intern head coach at Brigham Young University. He went 0-19. He took over the team after it started out and 1-6 in the 96-97 season. And Tony is a local legend around these parts here in Atlanta. And Kell High School, Wayne, is like 10 minutes from my house.
Yeah.
I mean, just a heck of a career. Big loss in the college basketball community. And unfortunately, some complications from COVID-19. He's no longer with us. Our thoughts and prayers go to Don Sutton's family and Tony Ingle's family. All right, I'm done with the Stauber news. Let's get to, unfortunately, we're going to get to more sad news, but not nearly as somber as this. Head coach Jeremy Pruitt, as everyone knows, was fired from Tennessee. He will receive no pay due to a recruiting scandal. Tennessee football, what would you call it? The Happy Meal special, Wayne? From the Dan Patrick Show.
Yeah.
I mean, this is it. I mean, Tennessee had two on-field assistants were fired for recruiting violations. They were Brad Niedermeyer and Shelton Felton. They terminated them due to recruiting violations. And the big deal is, from the Dan Patrick Show, is they put money into McDonald's bags and gave them to recruits when they came on campus. The other part of the story is Tennessee wasn't even trying to hide this, and they got sloppy. Wayne, what do you got there? McDonald's bag for us?
Hey, I ain't getting money in mine.
There's no money in your McDonald's bag? Let me see.
No, but check it out. It's totally empty.
It's empty.
Yeah.
You didn't get any either.
Yeah,
well, maybe you haven't been
I'll get nothing. I'll get nothing and like it.
You haven't been on the Tennessee campus recently. But
No,
I you know what? This stuff from Dan Patrick, who knows if this is true or not. Dan Patrick is a great source to get information from. But the folks at Tennessee are really ticked off. They do not. They're denying all of this. They're not denying the allegations, but they're denying the stuff from the McDonald's bags. And I just, when I think about this, I just think this is absurd that these coaches would go to great lengths like this, risk their careers to get kids to come on campus. And you're giving money in McDonald's bags? Was this done through a drive-through? I mean, did they have like coaches sitting in a drive-through and handing out money and bags of food in a McDonald's bag? I can't imagine that.
I can't imagine it's going to be quite that simple.
I don't think so.
Part of me wants to think that it's something that was going on with the boosters or with the alumni, and either the coaches knew about it and just turned their head to it, or it was something that was going on that coaches were totally unaware of. But if you're the head coach, you've got to take responsibility for it. And it's my understanding that Pruitt's contract had like 30 or something
clauses
that said that he could be fired for cause. So, I mean,
they don't have to pay him now, and it's sad, Wayne. It really is. And who knows if he knew about it? Who knows if this McDonald's story is true? Folks in Tennessee, once again, are denying it. I'll tell you what, it'll all come out in the end, because the NCAA is going to have a ball investigating this, and This is just really sad. Now Tennessee is going to be looking for a football coach. They do have an intern football coach in Kevin Steele, who came over from Auburn as the defensive coordinator. Kevin played football at Tennessee, and they say he is a master motivator. Well, whatever he's going to do this season, he's going to have to really – I think he's got a shot at the job.
Yeah, I definitely think he does.
He does. Also, another possibility is Jason Witten. Again, who knows how true this stuff is. And also, the Southeastern Conference supposedly is blocking the possibility of Tennessee hiring Hugh Freeze from Liberty. And, Hugh Freeze was at Ole Miss and had some issues on his own, making phone calls up to Detroit to contact some girls. So anyway,
I've also heard I've heard Gus Malzahn has been thrown into that mix as well. But
and you know what? Once again, who knows if all this stuff is true in regards to the SEC blocking the possibility of Hugh Freeze coming over. This is all stuff that's been reported out there, and we don't know, like I said, if the McDonald's situation is true or if the SEC is doing this. We don't know. I mean, it's too early in the investigation. We're just saying what we hear is being reported, and it'll all come out in the wash. Philip Fulmer is going to retire. This is just a tough situation at Tennessee, Wayne. They haven't been good in a long time. Jeremy Pruitt had won 8 games in a row last year, and then coming in, and then this season, they beat Vanderbilt, and that's, they just had a rough go of it.
Yeah. Well, he wasn't as bad of a coach as Derek Dooley was.
No. I mean, but look, Tennessee has just had problems since they fired Phil Fulmer 20 years ago. Yeah. They have not been very good. I mean, it's hard to believe that a program as good as Tennessee was for many years is in this situation. And now, what do they do? Does the new AD keep Kevin Steele? Does he hire his own guy? I don't know.
It's almost feels like Tennessee is the Detroit of the SEC.
Oh, golly. Yeah, I can't argue with that at the moment. You remember the story when Cade Mays was left Georgia for Tennessee to get out of the toxic environment? Well, I say whatever his visors say, stick to the opposite. Remember the opposite field in the show in Seinfeld?
Yeah.
When George Costanza would get an opposite feeling and he would stick to that instead of his feeling? Well, this is what Tennessee, Cade Mays needs to do. Whatever his advisors say, do the opposite. Because it's just a mess right now in Tennessee. It's awful.
Well, I mean, they're going to have to do something to straighten it out. And then they have the looming NCAA, which may come down on with some sort of sanctions once the internal investigation at UT is finished.
Oh, man. I tell you. And like I said,
SMU survived, and they came back pretty strong. So, it's possible that schools can come back and stuff like that.
All this stuff goes in cycles. I mean, Florida State had a great cycle of winning for years, and look at them now. Michigan had a really good cycle for winning for years, and, look at them now. They're not back to being what Michigan used to be. I mean, this stuff all, once again, goes in cycles, and right now Tennessee is in an awful cycle, and they're going to need some great leadership to be able to get them out of this situation. And I kind of like the idea that Kevin Steele came over from Auburn to do this. He played at Tennessee. He knows what the culture is. He knows what the environment is. Maybe he's the guy to help turn it around. He was in for the Auburn job and he didn't get it.
Yeah. Well, I think Auburn, the more I hear about the guy that Auburn got, the better I feel about it. So
we'll find out. That's for sure. I mean, all I know is them folks are really angry at the Dan Patrick show. And it's not
their
true.
Feelings hurt, and it's weird.
Right. And if it's not true, I'd really be angry at him. And if it is true, if you're Tennessee, you got to be embarrassed.
Yeah.
I mean, this is embarrassing. It just is.
Yeah.
So, all right, we'll go. I'm sorry.
If you're in Knoxville and you go to the McDonald's, ask for the volunteers Happy Meal.
Volunteers Happy Meal. Oh man. And part of the Happy Meal, you don't want the toys. You want what's called green.
Yeah.
Just put it in 20s and I'll move on.
Right.
Next car, please.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, what a mess. I mean, what else can we say? Let's move on to the Deshaun Watson situation. As you know, Deshaun Watson is very upset with the Houston Texans. He feels he should be consulted what's going on in the Texans front office. He's ticked off ever since they traded DeAndre Hopkins.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, you know, Bill O'Brien was fired. Now he'll be hired as the offensive coordinator at Alabama, going to Nick Saban's rehabilitation coaches school. And, you know, Steve Sarkisian was the latest one to graduate from there, and he's got the head job at Texas. So, you know, it's a good thing for Bill O'Brien, great opportunity. And Bill O'Brien did a great job at Penn State. He's the one that took over when Joe Paterno was fired and Joe passed away at Penn State. He's the one that took over the Penn State football program. He did a whale of a job. And he really did a decent job in Houston. I mean, he took them to the playoffs several times. He just wasn't able to get them over the hump. And, you know, Wayne, when you take a GM and a head coaching position, I think that's awful hard to do today. I mean, he was doing it in a dual situation, and now, you know, the star quarterback is upset. They're looking for a head coach. They just hired a GM. The rumors out there that he wants to be traded. And really, there's only two possibilities in my mind. One, the best possibility is Miami. They have a truckload of draft picks. They're a contender. They have money for free agency. And, you know, they got a heck of a football coach. So, you know, this is a good situation for Deshaun Watson to go to if he can get there. Plus, there's no state income tax in Tennessee. I mean, in Miami. I had Tennessee on my mind.
Well, Tennessee didn't have it either. But, you know, the only thing I really don't like about it is I don't like it when the players are trying to determine how the organization is going to be run. And I think it kind of started with players like John Elway trying to tell the organization who he was going to play for as the coach, and
it worked out for him, though.
Yeah, well, he is the organization, so
he is the organization. It really worked out for him. But Elway as a player did not go to this extent, though. He just wanted to go to a team. He didn't want to go to the Baltimore Colts. Elway wanted to go somewhere else where the organization was stable. He wanted to play for a winner, and he got his way to Denver. This situation here, Deshaun Watson already signed a long-term contract. He got his money, and now he's not happy because they're not winning. But, you know, going to Miami would be a fit. I mean, Miami could package draft picks. They could put Tua in the deal. To me, that's the best chance. Another one's the New York Jets. They have 2 first-rounders this year, 2 next year. The thing is, Deshaun may not be happy neither there because, A, they have state income tax. It's really high. He's going to get a pay decrease. And 2, the team's not ready to win.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just not ready to win. Finished 2-14.
Yeah, I'd be hesitant to hire a guy like that who could end up poisoning the locker room, though.
I mean, but this was the only time that Deshaun's been upset through his career, and it just was a downward spiral. Maybe to work out the new head coach and the GM that they just hired that's in there now. Maybe they can smooth things over. And, you know, time heals a lot of things. If they pick up a wide receiver in the draft, maybe he stays. Another long shot possibility for Deshaun, maybe New Orleans. But their cap is, you know, they've got cap issues, so I don't see him going there, but they need a quarterback. And, of course, the Indianapolis Colts, as you saw, we said earlier in the show, Phillip Rivers retired. So, you know, can they work out a package with the Colts? The rumor, Matt Stafford maybe going to Indianapolis from Detroit. He's got a year left on his contract. You know what? This offseason, Wayne, is going to be fascinating. The cap is going down. There's going to be more free agents than ever. It is going to be wild. You've got new hires and head coaches and GMs, and it is really tough to.
Well, you know what? Atlanta has they're pretty close to their cap, aren't they?
Oh, the Falcons, they're over the cap.
Yeah,
they're over the cap. And
I've kind of got an idea how they can get around that salary cap, though.
Well, they're going to have to start asking players like Matt Ryan, Julio Jones to start deferring money. That's one right there. They can redo that. Those are the two biggest contracts on the Falcons roster. You get those two players just to start deferring money, and then you start going from there. A lot of folks are thinking the Falcons should draft a quarterback. You and I talked about this before. I don't see how the Falcons can do this. Maybe they've got the 4th pick in the draft. I would trade down if I were Atlanta and get multiple first-round picks, and I would build that defensive line, especially the edge rushers, get an offensive lineman, draft a running back. This is all, this just sounds so easy, but it's hard. I mean, I just don't see Atlanta drafting a quarterback at 4 with Matt Ryan on the roster. If they didn't have him, say it was Matt Ryan's last year. Say you're the Pittsburgh Steelers and you're Ben Roethlisberger and you got a $41.6 million cap hit. They're going to have to redo his contract. I could see the Steelers drafting a quarterback. They're not drafting a 4, but they're drafting later on down in the first round. Mac Jones may be available. But I don't know. I'm sorry.
There's plenty of big quarterbacks farther down they draft. You don't always have to pick in the first round.
Right. Well, Justin Fields is he's the local guy. He played high school football here. He'll be here for the Falcons at 4 because the Jets aren't going to – I don't think they're going to take a quarterback. They might. It's a big if. Jacksonville's going to take they're going to take Trevor Lawrence. So, at 3, who's got 3rd? I think Miami has the 3rd pick of the draft. They're not taking a quarterback. They have Tua. They may trade for Deshaun Watson. We talked about that momentarily ago, but the Falcons are at 4. So Justin Fields may or may not be there, and Mac Jones will definitely be there.
An easy way to get around that salary cap, though, is, and this has been kind of a technique that's used recently, is why don't they just start distributing cash through the Chick-fil-A bags?
Oh, my gosh.
The NFL probably has a little bit more relaxed rules about that sort of thing.
Well, the Chick-fil-A bag is a lot sturdier than the McDonald's bag. It's a lot sturdier. It's a lot bigger. Their drive-through service is better. I've never seen a drive-through service like Chick-fil-A. That is one company that has it going on Monday through Saturday. They're closed. And them being closed on Sunday, I think it's a great thing for them. They obviously do because they do a ton of business Monday through Saturday. And like you said, their bags are sturdy. They're well-made, their service and all that. Right. And McDonald's is a great company, don't get me wrong.
Well, I worked at McDonald's for about 4 years, and I can tell you that it would have been nice to have a day off where you knew you didn't have to work, or to have a day off to do maintenance and cleanup stuff while there's no customers.
It sounds like it would have been great for you to be a college football player while you were working at McDonald's, man. It would have been really easy.
I was in the marching band back then, carrying around that big old sousaphone.
You might have been able to get the cash register from the assistant coaches at Tennessee and kept on going. But you were at Memphis, which is down the road from Knoxville. It's quite a drive.
And we're not really hearing much about what's going on in Knoxville, nor do we really even care. The biggest news in Memphis sports is the FedEx Forum will be opening back up for people to be able to attend the basketball games starting tomorrow versus, I want to say, Wichita State. Wichita State will be here tomorrow evening.
Well, that's great. That means you can go to the game, correct?
Absolutely. I will be there.
You know what? I don't understand it. Look, you can spread these people out, and you can get people safely into an arena, a gym, whatever you want to call it. Spread them out. High school basketball, there's a crowd in the stand here for high school basketball. It's spread out and it's limited, but you can do it. I mean, I see these big, gigantic 13, 15,000 seat arenas and nobody's in them.
Yeah. Well,
it doesn't make any sense.
The seats that I have are probably about 15 to 20 feet away from anybody.
Wow.
So,
and you don't have to worry about it. Talk about social distancing.
And no concessions are open up or anything like that. So it's not like you can go around, eating food or anything like that to transmit the virus or nothing.
Yeah, that's nice. So, well, I'll tell you what, Wayne, it's been a fun show.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it today. We'll be on Friday on Blog Talk Radio Live, www.blogtalkradio.com. Old Miss Eve will be our guest. She does Old Miss football, and she'll be on the show. That's one way you can listen in. Another is 1-347-205-9631. If you do not catch us live, you can catch the replay. Also, we have a show that we do on Monday, and it comes out on Tuesday on YouTube. And today's show we're recording, obviously, and then it will be out on YouTube tomorrow. What are you doing with that McDonald's bag?
Well, I'm getting ready for the closeout of the show.
What are you doing?
Well, yeah, when you do your sign off thing, and JJ usually says get you one, I'm going to say get you one of these.
I always call Old Miss Eve just because that's her Twitter handle, but she's Evie Van Pelt,
right?
And she's a publisher of the Rebel Walk. She's been on ATL Prime Sports many times before. But I like calling her Old Miss Eve because that's her Twitter handle.
Right.
And she gets a lot of traffic on there talking SEC football, and I can't wait till she comes on Friday.
Yeah.
I cannot wait. She'll be on right at 1 o'clock. We'll keep her on to about 1:10 or 1:12. We'll discuss maybe there's some breaking news. Obviously, we'll discuss that. We'll give our AFC, NFC championship game picks. Mark Mancini will join us, along with JJ. And actually, Monday, we're going to bring JJ's baby on the show at the very end.
Okay.
And she's as cute as can be. Her name is Jordan. So,
all right.
Well, that's the end of the show, everybody. Thanks for listening.
Right.
And we'll be talking to you live on Friday on Blog Talk Radio. I'm Todd Corder for our producer, Wayne in Memphis. Wayne, there's a nice.
Get you one of these.
Get you one of these and enjoy your Happy Meal, and we'll talk to you on Friday.